What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Play in the Field. I'm your host, Ryan Field, the sports anchor here at ABC-7 in New York City. Joined now, as always, by our Bachelor insider, Jen Matarese, who was gone last week.
Sorry.
So we are happy to have Jen
We forgive you.
back in the fold this week. Gina Sirico, of course, our Bachelor expert out there from KABC in Los Angeles, joining us here today. And do we have a special show in store for you? Because, drum roll, please, we have Miss Sarafiena Watkins here from Grant's season, joining us here on Play in the Field. What's going on, Sarafiena?
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
You should be excited.
Yeah.
I think this is only our second in-studio guest in the new studio.
Yeah.
So
I weaseled my way in here.
yes, she did.
A lot of Californians, you know, Gina always gets to talk to everybody, so it's nice when we get the chance.
And now Gina gets to feel left out, like we get to all the time. Yeah.
No, we'll come to LA and see you.
Every week.
Yeah, we'll come and see you.
That's okay.
So if everybody is wondering how the heck Sarafiena ended up on this podcast, which we are obviously very happy to have her here, during my many exploits covering the beloved New York Knicks during the playoffs, I was in our ABC suite, hobnobbing with some people, and Sarafiena walked in. And it's one of those things where I'm sure everybody has this, where you see someone's face and you're like, wait, I know this person, but then your mind is going, well, where I mean, you know, in a job like mine, I'm out at events, and Gina's the same way, covering all these red carpets and stuff, and it's like you meet people all day, every day. So I see Sarafina's face, and I'm like, where do I know her from? And then I'm like, wait a minute, she was on The Bachelor. So I start scrolling through previous seasons, trying to figure out which season she was on.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing this show for 5 seasons now. And then it was like, oh, yeah, she was on Grant's season.
Yeah.
Most recent.
Yeah.
Most recent. So I went up and introduced myself, and lo and behold, a couple weeks later, here we are. She's here in the studio.
I know. I was with my boss, and you're usually not my target demographic of people who come up to me. So,
makes sense.
yeah, you were like, I know you, and I was like, what did I do?
Yeah, right. You're like, what meeting did I mess
I
up
was
in my other job? Yes.
Yeah, it's my Hannah Montana life. No, but they all find it really funny when people do it, because it's like, I have my real job and I've known them all for like 5 years. So when I told them I was going on the show, and like after everything happened, and like, you know, I have interns in my office and girls come up to me, they find it so funny, because it's like, that's just not who I am at work. I'm so serious, and you know, I live the day to day. So this is so different for them.
What is the most common question you get from people about your time on the show?
I would say if I'm still friends with the girls, if I was actually really friends with them, I get, did you fly private? I get that all the time. And I'm like, no, I sat in economy back at the plane. Like,
She's just like the rest of us, friends.
Yeah. Those are the funniest that I get. Yeah.
And are you still friends with?
Yes, like very, very good friends with a lot of the girls. They're like, I was like, I don't know how I lived my life without them. They're like my best friends now. So I'm really happy. A bunch of them are actually coming this weekend.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So it's going to be a little reunion. You'll see on Instagram, I'm sure.
Gina, we know you'll be keeping an eye on that.
Yeah.
I'll be living vicariously through you guys because I'll be working all weekend. I have shoots all weekend, so you know I'll be living vicariously through everybody else.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be a really fun weekend. I'm excited.
I love that. You know, one of the things that we all kind of noticed as we were watching you on this season is we all kind of loved your realness. Like I loved that when you were on the one-on-one, you were like, nope, you know, we can't make out too much because my mom is watching. Just little things that is happening. Tell me, like, have like your interns and all that been saying that? Like, is that the Sarafiena they see? Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I would say with the realness, and like, I'm from New York, like born and raised. My family lives in Connecticut, but like my roots are New York. So it's like, that's the way that we speak. Like, and I always say, like, people don't get my humor. It's very dry. It's very like honest. It's the truth. And it doesn't resonate with a lot of people. And like, yeah, I got a little bit of hate for some things I said, but it's like, I say what's on my mind, and like, that's how I was feeling. Like, and it's, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to like, you know, tell a joke, but it's more of like, that's honestly what's on my mind. And I feel like that's more authentic. Even my one-on-one, I was like, I don't want to tell a sad story because like full transparency, I don't have a sad story, but I could tell how I grew up and like, you know, how I was raised and how that makes me really proud. And with life, I tell something, the truth, but I also like to add a little humor to it because that's my personality. So I'm really happy that everyone enjoyed that and they thought it was as funny as I did.
I feel like for us as watchers, like we watch this show as our job. And so for us, like seeing somebody who's real and kind of keeps it real is refreshing.
Yeah. And like no one knows when you are on camera, it's your producer who you become very close with, like 20 different cameras. Like everyone is around you, so it's a little awkward. And then knowing he just made out with your best friend 2 minutes ago, it's a little, it also kind of adds to it a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you have 25 women dating one guy.
Yeah,
which is it's a reality show, but it's anything but reality. That's the funny part. Funny part about it. Yeah. So, what did you know about the show coming in terms of maybe you had spoken to previous people who were on the show, and what was the actual reality like in terms of taping, and what kind of surprised you the most about the whole process?
Yeah, so I feel like what people don't know, I'm a very big fan of the show. Like, diehard fan. My first season was Sean Lowe. Wow. So that was years
you're going back
ago.
A little bit.
Yeah,
yeah,
I watched in high school. Then I did like watch parties in college. I fell off a little bit, but like I started to watch again. So like I knew the premise of the show. Like I knew what went on, but the behind the scenes is so different. And I would say like it's not scripted in the slightest. Like it's not, you're not whatever. But what I will say that surprised me was like genuinely the bonds in between people. Because like I'm a very anxious person, especially when dating. So I was like, how the hell am I gonna like date this guy with like other girls? And it's like you kind of get past that in a sense. And like I was like, there's no way these girls can be friends with each other. And I was like, these are like real strong bonds, because you don't realize that you're away from your family, your friends, like the outside world. So it's like these are the people you lean on. So I was really surprised of like how quickly I became close to everyone in the house, and like also just like producers. And like I feel like you hear horror stories about producers, and it's not that. It's more of just like these people also become your family. So, and I still talk to like my producer to this day, which is really nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
Did you feel that same kind of closeness with Grant? I mean, were you able to build a relationship? Did you feel like, I mean, how was it compared to like a normal guy that you'd meet on the street? Like, did you feel like you formed a bond quicker, or was it harder because of all the other women?
I feel like I formed a bond quicker because I talked about things that I don't think I would have ever talked about on a first date.
Right.
Like, you got to kind of move quickly throughout this process, because it's like you have 15 minutes with him a night, and that's like the max sometimes. Sometimes it's actually 2 minutes. So you kind of have to just like, you don't go into a normal dating situation, which has like also helped me a little bit in my dating life, because I feel like I was so reserved from dating. And now I'm kind of just like, I'm open, and I say what's on my mind from the first date and like what I'm looking for. So I think that's also helped me. It didn't work out how I wanted it to, but I'm still happy with how it ended. Yeah.
Well, what's been the best part about being a part of Bachelor Nation for you?
I would say the friendships. Like, genuinely, it's not even people from my season, but like from other seasons. Like Lexi from Joey's season is actually coming this weekend and hanging out with like a bunch of the girls from my season, like me, Zoe, and also Bailey's coming from Atlanta. So I would say the friendships from the girls. I would also say just like support from people. Like you said, like, as much whatever hate DMs you get, there are so many positives of people saying like, I'm so happy you shared your story about your mom and like growing up with a single mom. Like, that's also really nice to hear, because it's something that I was like, I don't want to say ashamed of, but really afraid to speak about. So hearing that, and then hearing other girls like relate to that was nice. Like, that was a benefit coming out of the season for sure.
Here's something I've always wanted to ask a contestant, and we've never asked someone, especially you being a longtime fan of the show.
Yeah.
When you see these women, or frankly men on The Bachelorette, say that I'm falling for this person after the second or third date, and to your point, you're only getting maybe 15 minutes with them, how much of that is BS? How much are you like, there's no way this person is falling for someone this quickly? Like, it just doesn't seem like that's possible when you look at how things would work in the dating world. I know things are sped up, like you said.
Yeah.
But
in my opinion, no, I don't think it's realistic. I hate to say that, but I think I was definitely like, and I think Grant said this throughout our season, like it was a slow burn for us, because it was more of just like, I feel like I had authentic conversations. And then when we got to our one-on-one, because I had my one-on-one in week 4. So it was like a couple weeks just getting to know each other and like having those mini conversations. So I did feel strongly after our one-on-one, but like, week 2, I don't think I could have said that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, at all. But I mean, maybe people like fall harder and quicker. So maybe it's a love at first sight kind of thing.
But is it maybe too like you're kind of caught up in all of the hoopla that comes with being involved with the show?
I think so. I think it's like when you don't have your phone and you don't have like your family and your friends, because like if I go on a date with a guy, the next morning I FaceTime my friends and tell them everything. I'm like write down pros and cons about the guy. Like, so I didn't really have my mom to call and be like, okay, what do you think of this person? So I think maybe that's what it is that you fall because you don't have like your crutches and your resources that you like lean on when you go on a first date.
Makes sense.
So when we get down to the end of the show and, you know, you're no longer a part of it at that point, and it's down to Latia and Juliana, did you think did he pick who you thought he would? And what have you heard since? Do you keep in touch with them at all?
Yeah. Latia and I speak every single day, FaceTime multiple times a day.
So cool.
Yeah. So when she first left everything, she FaceTimed me the second that she got home. So we've been very close. We were like roommates in Scotland when we were staying there. So like she's one of my best friends. Juliana and I also speak a bunch. Like, you know, she's obviously like traveling and like obviously growing her relationship with Grant, so we don't get to speak as much, but I love them both. I think Grant chose the best person for him and the time. I can't speak for him, and you know, it's his decision, but I think they're both happy, and I'm really excited to see where the relationship grows.
You mentioned something earlier about how, you know, after a first date, you will, you know, debrief with your besties.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like what happened in the house? I mean, because obviously now you have, you know, you're without your normal resources. So when you were debriefing, just talk to me about like, I mean, do you feel like that's where, I mean, we saw a lot of miscommunication on the debriefs during the season.
Yeah.
Did you have any of that with your friends, things maybe we didn't see?
Yeah. So I feel like a few of us, we had a don't ask, don't tell policy. It was like, we were always like, you know what, I'm just going to protect my peace. Like the first week was fine. Like, oh, you kissed him? Like, that's so fun, whatever. But then when it got a little bit more into like people having one-on-ones and growing strong feelings for him, we did not speak about our time with him, our conversations, our one-on-one. Like Latia had her one-on-one in Scotland and we were roommates. And when she came home, I was like, how are you? And she was like, I'm good. And I was like, okay, good night. Like we never spoke about it. And I think it was just a respect that we had for each other. It was like, we're both going through this, and for us to not spiral and for us to like kind of like navigate the journey ourselves, like it's best if we just keep it to ourselves. So there were girls who spoke about it, and we learned like, don't do that. That's probably not the best idea. And that's like, I'm too anxious for that. I can't hear what everyone else says on their date. Yeah. Honestly.
Well, one of the ladies that was going on some dates and who was a hot topic of conversation on this very podcast was Miss Carolina.
Yeah.
Was she someone, in your opinion, that was maybe misunderstood based on how it was portrayed to the audience, or you having lived through it, was it exactly how it looked?
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to stir stuff up now because I think we're in a really good place. Like the season's over. We're fine. I think it's fine not to be friends with everyone, is what I will say. And I don't think that everyone in the house would have been friends with, you don't have to be friends with everyone. I would say in terms of being misunderstood, I think she maybe didn't articulate herself well. And I think she made some mistakes. And I think she knows that she's made some mistakes. And in terms of like things that she might have said or misinterpreted, whatever the situation was. But at the end of the day, I think that, what's important is like now moving forward and like our relationship. So I would say we speak. She had a live the other day on TikTok, asked me to join, but I was in the gym, so I couldn't. But I think we're good. And I honestly, I wish her the best, and I'm really happy to see what she does.
So looking forward now, what is your take on Paradise? We see girls from your season and also Goldens and people from other past seasons. What are you looking forward to seeing? Are you going to watch?
Yeah, of course. I can't say who's going, or I don't know who's going, but I'm really excited. I think they'll be a really good cast. I think the girls are amazing. I'm excited for people to see some of the girls' personalities that you guys didn't get to see in the season. And I'm excited for the couples. So yeah, I really can't wait to watch. It's just gonna be really funny.
Us too.
I already know.
Is that a tease that you just gave us that we need to know a little more about?
What part?
The couples.
Oh no, I can't say anything about that.
You knew she wasn't going to give us any of the tea.
I would immediately get shut out.
I was just asking if that was a tease that there are couples that we need to know, that we will be finding out about.
Yeah, I think there'll be some exciting couples. Who knows? Yeah,
I love
maybe ones you don't expect.
July 7th, Bachelor in Paradise starts.
Yeah.
Speaking of tea, what's your favorite Bachelor tea that's making its way around Bachelor Nation right now? What's going on in the group chat that you ladies are talking about?
What's going on in the group chat?
That she can say.
Well, that she can say. I mean, listen, we got a lot of stuff floating around Bachelor Nation, right?
Yep.
What's going on?
Well, Jen, you want
to...
There was a rumor the other day about Grant posted on Instagram saying there's no place like home, and they're like, but isn't your home in Boston now? And you know, is there nothing to that?
I think there's nothing to that. I think I don't know what Grant posted on Instagram. We don't follow each other. But, I mean,
there's a little bit of tea.
Yeah. No, not that. But I think it's more just like, I don't really know what he posts on Instagram. I think maybe he was trying to be funny. I think they have fun with like what they post, honestly, both him and Grant and Juliana. I think that's the humor to their relationship. So, but I wouldn't read into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Gina.
Yeah. Do you know anything?
No. Well, I'm going to go back to tea from your season.
Yeah.
I think it was Women Tell All when your mom was there.
Oh yeah.
And she, everyone was joking that she should be the next Golden Bachelorette. Do you feel like, does she want to try and maybe get cast onto Mel's season of Golden Bachelor, because that's coming up? Have you talked about it?
So one thing, when I applied for The Bachelor and I told my family I was going, I didn't speak to them for 2 days. Like, they absolutely were like, you're not doing reality TV. That is not what you're going to do. Like, you're going to ruin your career, all these things. Flash forward to Women Tell All. My mom got more screen time than I did.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think she loves it. She got so much praise on social media. They haven't reached out, so we don't know. But I would love to see her. I want her to find love. I want her to be happy. Mel seems great. So yeah, if anyone's watching, she's single and available.
There you go.
I'll be her agent. Negotiate her contract.
One of the cool things that they're doing now is they're showing people's audition tapes on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Will we see your YouTube or your audition tape? And what did you do for your audition tape?
So I didn't have we didn't have audition tapes for our season.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
We just did a bunch of Zoom interviews. So that's why I was like, wow, if I had to do that, I don't think I would have ended up on the show. I can't edit a video. I can't do that. So no, you won't see, I don't think you'll see anyone from my season's audition tape, which sucks because I feel like they'd be really good, some of the girls.
Maybe they recorded those Zooms.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I don't know. Maybe they did.
Oh no, there's some stuff I said on that Zoom that should never be in public.
What kind of questions were they asking you on the Zoom?
About my dating life mostly. I told a lot of dating stories, a lot of ex-boyfriends that didn't work out for a reason. Yeah, a lot of funny dating stories for me.
So what's your status now? Are you out there dating? How are things going?
Yeah.
And do you have any plans to go back on TV to represent Bachelor Nation at any point?
I'm not dating. I just got a relationship, so I'm dealing through that. It's going to take a little bit of time. No, it's fine. I bounced back quick.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, so I am dating. Dating apps don't work for me. I'm just, my DMs are open if anyone's listening, if any athletes are listening. But yeah, I'm dating, going on reality TV again. I feel like, I don't know. I think I went into it and I was like, I have thick skin, but I think it is so hard. I think one of the reasons Paradise I feel like wasn't for me as well was just a lot of the negative feedback. I think I need some time to heal from that, and I think that will be a little bit hard, but I don't know, who knows, maybe in a year.
Do you think you'll have some FOMO though when you're watching it? If they're on the beach having a great time?
No. I'll go on vacation with my friends. If I have FOMO
without the cameras.
Without the cameras.
Yeah,
if I have FOMO, I'll
idea.
tell them to let's go on a vacation. So I'm fine.
Good.
Yeah, I love it. Sarafiena, okay, so you said obviously Zoe's in New York and some of the other girls are coming in. What is if you're going to be doing a girls' weekend, if I come to New York ever, tell me what I need to do. What's the ideal weekend day in the city? What should I do? What would you suggest?
I would say dinner. I would you could pick a dinner anywhere in meat packing would be really nice. I feel like that's where I feel like people my age usually hang out. Meatpacking, Soho, West Village. The next day I would say it's getting nice. I would say in the morning, walk the West Side Highway, get coffee, do that, and get ready for another dinner that night. Yeah. feel like that's a typical weekend for me.
A chill but fun weekend with the ladies on deck.
I love a dinner with cocktails.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess if someone is in your position and thinking about doing this whole reality TV thing and going on The Bachelor and maybe making or having a life-changing experience like you did, what kind of advice would you give them for someone who's maybe on the fence about whether or not they should apply to go on the show?
Yeah, I would say be yourself. Don't be like an archetype of someone that you've seen from previous seasons, because not being yourself, and I feel like I've seen it, is exhausting because you have to keep up that persona the entire time, and you have to realize like you were filmed 24/7. So if you are not yourself, and one, you're not going to meet good friends, you're not going to like form a good relationship with Grant, like you're not being yourself, and it's going to be a very hard time for you. And I would say just like kind of prepare yourself, have a really good support system after, because it is really hard going through that. But yeah, I would say just take the chance and do it. I think it's the best thing I've ever done.
So we were chatting before this podcast started, and I thought this was super interesting that roses are triggering.
Yeah, she sat down. We have these fake roses here. Wait, these are real, right? These are fake roses.
Yeah.
And she was like, take those off the table. No, she did not say that.
Yeah.
And so you have a new perfect favorite flower.
Yeah.
Which is
I would say sunflowers. So we said for my wedding, I would have to choose something different.
Okay.
I don't think sunflowers
No
my
roses.
wet that.
No, it's a little too casual.
Yeah, but I also don't even think I would have done roses a year ago either. Yeah, I do more of like a baby's breath. I know that's like very basic.
very natural, like wildflower.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
That would be pretty. Yeah, I never thought about the fact that every time you see a rose now, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Flashbacks.
Yeah. My friend, when I came back from filming, they all got me roses.
And you were like, no.
And you're
I
like,
think-
you guys can just
You're
keep
like,
these.
we'll never-
Yeah, it was for a bit, like fully a bit. Like guy friends did it for me.
Aw, that's sweet though.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's
Aw.
funny.
Well, listen, we've enjoyed having you on the show.
Yeah, this
and
was so
we're so happy to
fun.
hear that it was a positive experience for you, and it looks like you're living your best life here in New York, and a big girls' weekend on deck. And
Yeah.
we can't wait to hear more about your journeys through Bachelor Nation, and hopefully we can have you back on the podcast again soon.
Of course, I would love to talk Paradise. I can't wait to...
we can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Coming up in the weeks ahead, we have Joan and Chalk.
I know,
Doc,
I'm very
rejoining us here on
excited.
Playing the Field. And then in early July, Jesse Palmer will be here, your good pal Jesse, to dish on all things Bachelor in Paradise, which starts July 7th on ABC. We can't wait for that. We thank
Happy summer.
Happy summer. Summer is here,
Finally.
friends. It's about damn time. We thank you for joining us. We thank Sarafiena for being here. And as always, Gina and Jen, my name is Ryan. This is Playing the Field, and we will see you next time.